I want to review some books today because we all know I don't do that enough, but hey, give me a break. This has pretty much been the worst year of my life, so I deserve some grace. And I am coming at you strong today, unpacking some of my thoughts and feelings, pros and maybe cons for some brand new book releases that I have read this past month, or the past 2 months actually. One of them actually coming out today, the day this video goes up, and no surprise, they are all fantasy, dark fantasy, which I am so glad is kind of getting the spotlight again. It never left, but romantasy being the new recent trend, I am so glad to see some new epic, somewhat dark fantasy being written. As all authors seem to say, write what you love and the right readers will find it, and well, they found me. I am your light and savior. So let's go ahead and begin this video. I'm going to start with the one that is soaked with the most blood. In fact, it's taking dark to the next level, and that is Mistress of Lies, which released in August. So if you find what I'm saying enticing, you can pick it up yourself today. The link will be down below in the description box for all of 3 of these books actually. And of course, a big thanks to Orbit Books for allowing me to review all of these books early. Now, this is a dark gothic fantasy with Filipino and queer characters, so yes, it does have a very prominent MMF romance. I want to mention for my fellow romance isn't my favorite thing kind of people, this one honestly seems very divisive between readers. It feels like people either love it or hate it, and I definitely fall in the middle. This had an interesting magic system and a cool like vampire king character. It's set in a vampiristic society where blood magic rules all, and you are either born a blood worker or unblooded. And I'm not gonna say what those are because I think it's more interesting to find out for yourself. I went into this one unsure on how I was going to feel about it, but honestly it snagged my attention by the 3rd chapter, and it had me wanting to know what was going to happen next. So Mistress of Lies follows 2 POVs. We have Sean or Shan. I don't know which way I prefer it. Sean? Shan? It's S-H-A-N. No E. So you know what? We're gonna go Shan. And Samuel. Both I thought provided interesting perspectives to the plot. But as with every book that is multi-POV, I did find myself looking forward to one perspective more than the other. Shan is cunning and manipulative, but secretly aching to be loved and appreciated for who she is. Definitely a multi-layer character with emotions and feelings that you wouldn't expect. She's complex, and I just ate up her chapters. I really loved her struggle to prove herself to a world that doesn't particularly like foreigners. And I mean, the book literally opens up with Shan murdering her father after years of abuse. And I don't find that a spoiler because, like I said, the book opens up with that. Now, Samuel is very much the opposite, where he is just a sweet and optimistic guy on the surface, but I did find him duller and kind of bland. And as much as I loved the feeling this world gave and its awesome magic system, the romance just smothered it for me, unfortunately. I do wish the magic was explained just a little bit more so I could get a more understanding on why blood is so essential to working magic in the first place. In general, I would recommend giving this one a try to those who are looking for a dark romantasy. Romantasy with a capital R, that's for sure. Polyamorous relationships, if that's what you are looking for. The next book I have here is Night Strider. This was actually a indie published book back in, I believe, 2022, and Orbit Books picked it up to publish it themselves. Now, it would be an understatement to say that upon its initial new cover reveal that this had high expectations to live up for me. Orbit Books has always been known for their dark and epic fantasy, and we definitely have a darker one here. So Night Strider is the first book to a series about a world split in 2, and the 4 characters that we get all perspectives on, who must come together to save it. So we have the Wake, which is the waking world, kind of obvious there, and then we have the Reverie, which is the dream world, where nightmares and good dreams alike come to life. And one man rules both of these worlds with a very violent hand, but a small band of rebels, the POVs I mentioned a moment ago, are working to take him down. Really quick, I do want to mention, I think this is a great fall winter read because it's a dark fantasy. It has that blistery cold feeling to it that just fits the season. It felt spooky, whimsical, very Tim Burton-esque, but also like throw in Throne of Glass style ass-kicking scenes. It's a world that I would definitely not want to live in. but I am fascinated by. So yeah, dark and gloomy read for sure. Now, if I could sum up my impressions of the storytelling in its opening acts with one word, it would be, okay, I'm going to use two: simple and gritty. And I mean that as a compliment. I'm a big fan of epic fantasies, tackling complex subjects or having dense lore to comb through, weird magic systems, but not everything needs to be complicated just for the sake of it. Night Strider keeps its plot straightforward while leaving like little breadcrumbs of info as you read about this dream world, instead of like bogging it down with needless exposition and huge info dumps. And I actually like this way of storytelling much better. It's a not overly complicated puzzle you get to like piece together yourself, which is fun. I really enjoyed this one. It surprised me in a lot of ways. Were there some elements or flaws that bothered me? Sure. Do I consider romanticities in general flaws? Maybe. I'm joking. But there's nothing here that is so bad I feel is worth mentioning. The author did a great job. She created a really unique story that is fast-paced and gripping, gory as hell, which makes up for the romance being there for me. It's filled to the brim with morally gray characters, mystery, and emotion. It's over 500 pages full of just that. Very adventure style, traveling from place to place to place, and not only just one world, but two. So that's cool. Alrighty, let's finally talk about the book that released today, September 24th. And my favorite book of the three, I think, A Tide of Black Steel. So this is a Norse-inspired fantasy by the one and only Anthony Ryan. Now this review is coming from an already pretty hardcore Anthony Ryan fan, and this was a wonderful Norse-inspired tale that will tickle any fan of like seafaring tales. I feel like a lot of people don't know this, but this is technically connected to the Covenant of Steel series, but you do not have to have read that series at all. Some characters are briefly mentioned. It is not mandatory. You won't miss out on a thing, but if you have read that series, then you just get like a little Easter egg. As with most Anthony Ryan books, the story here is character driven and is split up into 4 POVs who all have adventures of their own. They're all very different, and it makes it very epic in scope in that case, and 2 of the POVs are siblings. We have Thura, who is frustrated that her fame came from a battle that continues to haunt her, unlike her brother, who is seeking to remove his infamy and resigned his exile. These two do have some animosity towards each other, sibling rivalry, some awkward family reunion moments. It makes for an interesting read for sure. The third POV is Elvine. Don't make fun of me if I'm saying all of these names wrong. I'm trying my best. A gifted scholar who finds herself in a precarious situation after her secret is revealed and is used against her. This character has so much growth throughout the book that I really enjoyed seeing, very much in the lines of a Abercrombie character, like, I don't know if I like you, but then they do something worth applauding later on. Definitely a redemption arc character. And then we have the last POV, who was honestly the most fascinating for me. His name is Rulin, who finds himself the victim of a raid by a group of people who the world was convinced dead. However, a secret in his blood is revealed, and he ends up being carted across the ocean to an unknown land to fight as a gladiator of sorts. I was honestly looking forward to his POV the most. His adventures in this strange new land feels like something out of a gladiator nightmare, and I loved it. So overall, I loved this book. I had a great time with it and really enjoyed the seafaring adventures. It really reminded me of Half a King by Abercrombie, and if any of you are OGs, as in you've been watching my channel since like 2018, you all know how Half a King like changed my entire direction when it comes to what I like to read. So what I'm saying, if you are a true Holly Hearts books fan and you haven't read Half a King by Abercrombie yet, I'm disappointed. Anyways, I'm so excited for book 2 because all 4 POVs get a cliffhanger-like ending, and I'm itching to see what comes next for them. I also hope we get more information about the gods in this world, as I feel like we only just itched the surface about them. So yeah, Norse mythology fans, get your hands on this one. Alrighty, so that's going to be it for today. I gave you a few pros and cons and personal opinion on some brand new book releases. Now, I want to know, what do you think? Will you be picking these up? Did these reviews help you in some way on deciding if you'll give them a try? Let me know. Like this video, it helps me out a lot, and subscribe if you haven't. I would love to have you here. I always appreciate it, and I'll be uploading more of these. So stay tuned, and until we meet again, happy reading.